Hello everybody, how are we doing? My name is Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian in the Discord, and you are watching the weekly news stream for the card game Achroma on the 2nd of April 2023. Welcome in, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all doing good. So let's have a little look at the chat, see what people put. So the question that we had for this week was all around the Curdle event that we are going to be talking about in stream today. And we asked you, what do you think would happen to Curdle if Achroma was to win? So a bit of a thought-provoking question of, what would you potentially like to see? Welcome in Tiggs to the stream, who's here first today. Welcome in Heron. Heron said, couldn't say, as a bit lazy to read the lore, but I didn't have time in. That is understandable, mate. Welcome in, though. Welcome in, Mongoose. I like your answer, Mongoose. Isadora becomes an explorer. Achroma spreads to the next village or provenance, maybe with an apprentice as a new legendary. That is pretty cool. Yeah, so I personally I'm rooting for Achroma to win myself, and I didn't think about it potentially spreading like to the next village. I was thinking that maybe like they would turn each I was thinking that the occultists would completely take over not only Curdle Village but also maybe like Ludlam City, and they would almost like install like Achroma converters in almost like all of the village houses to make that kind of Eldritch Cloud just grow even more, and yeah, I guess then go to the next villages. And also, like, I want to see, if Achroma wins, obviously Isadora leads the Occultist Alliance, but is also kind of, like, still technically the mayor of Curdle Hill. I don't really know how much the Curdle residents know about her kind of darker side, so it'd be quite cool if she almost, like, came out as this, like, haha, I am the Dark Ruler sort of thing. Does Isadora teach people in Spanish? I wonder. Daniel, welcome in. Nothing, because I will defend Achroma. Achroma is still winning by a lot. Well, not by as much as you might think, but yes, Achroma is currently winning. Welcome in, Daniel. Good to see you. So yes, welcome in, everybody. So this is the weekly stream for Achroma, and this is what you can expect. So over the next sort of 60 to 90 minutes, we have quite a bit in store for you. In a moment, we're going to start by going through the Achroma news, which will essentially be what has happened this week in the world of Achroma. We're then going to have a look at what upcoming events you can expect to see Achroma at. We then have a very special sneak peek where today is a big one. We will be joined by the managing director of Roma Studios, Jack Constantine, who is going to be previewing the mobile adventure game that you guys have been hearing drips and drabs about over the last few months. So that's going to be really exciting to see a live preview of that. As well as we're going to be showing some more of the alt arts from the competition that was ran a few months ago, and that we're going to show the final versions of those, which is going to be pretty cool. And as always, we'd like to shine some light on the community at the end so you guys can see what you guys have been up to as well. So let's get straight into it, shall we? So starting with the news, we have a bit of an update, I should say, about the Kickstarter. I just like to keep everybody in the loop as the weeks go by as to exactly where we're at with some of the orders, because I appreciate a lot of you, backed some amazing products and you want them in your hands as soon as possible. So I just want to be as transparent as possible about what is happening. Mongoose said Klaus will declare Achroma would have got away with it had it not been for you pesky occultists. That would be funny. Kind of continuing from last week's Kickstarter update, the good news is all of the cards have now gone to the printer. We've been sending off the cards to the printers in stages, but now with the alt arts being sent off this week, all of the cards are now with the printing press, so it's in the hands of those to get them back. However, some of the unlimited cards have already arrived in our store. So I'm pretty certain we've got all of the commons and uncommons of the unlimited cards. We're just waiting on the rares and legendaries. So we will be we're starting to get these cards back into store. So it's going to be a very, very short time until we can actually start packing these cards and getting them out to the backers of the Kickstarter. And with that as well, you can expect in the next sort of week or so that there will be pre-orders going up. So for those that weren't able to back in the Kickstarter, either because you didn't know about it or weren't able to back anything at the time, those that want to get their hands on the Rise of the Realm Runner expansion packs, or just generally get their hands on some more unlimited edition Achroma palettes. These will be available for pre-order in the coming week or so. As we know more, we'll obviously post on our socials to let you know. But and to be very clear, anyone that does, for those that did it back, we'll be sending out the backing orders, then the pre-orders, and then everything else will just be on the shelf ready to buy at any of our stores or online. So yes, we are still currently on track to start dispatching cards roughly at the end of April. So obviously we've just hit April now. So essentially within the next 3-4 weeks, we should be dispatching cards to you. Obviously, if we get the cards earlier and can get the packs earlier, it might be a bit earlier, but expect that sort of 3 to 4 week range. Obviously, with each weekly stream, we will keep you updated if that ETA was to change. And with that, we have a lot of focus on this week of finishing off the box art, which is the the artwork for the boxes that your cards are going to come in. I believe we've already finished the unlimited boxes, but it's the Rise of the Realm Runner boxes that are being finished this week. So those will get sent off to the printer. And then really following on from that, our main focus is really going to be on things like the TTRPG game, which as far as I'm aware, the last update I had on that is that the written side of it is basically done, as in like, all of the words that are going to be on the page, as it were. But we've sent it off to another teammate who's going to be kind of making it all look very nice before we send it to you guys. So long story short, it's in its final stages. That should not be very long as well, because I appreciate you guys are all very eager to get into the TTRPG. As for the merchandise, so very exciting times, actually. For the merch items, we've had some of the test results back. So what we did is before we sent a massive bulk order of all the merch, we ordered kind of like one of everything to make sure that the quality was good, because obviously Realm Runner Studios is very much wanting to make sure that we are using sustainable materials as well as a high quality product. So we didn't want to just do an order without seeing one in our hands first of what would it look like. So for those that have been in the Achroma store in Pool the last few days, you might have seen a sneak peek at, like, for example, the drawstring bags, the pins, the phone cases. So yeah, it's all looking really, really good. So presumably we'll get those merch orders sent out very soon as well. And hopefully they'll come back nice and quickly. And yeah, we'll just be focusing then on things like the Voltex items as well. So it's all going forward. That's the main thing. If you have any questions specifically about the Kickstarter, you can always ask in the Achroma Discord, which is linked down below, where there is a Kickstarter relevant FAQ question forum. So the big news for this week then is obviously the fact that Season 1 has now started, and the battle for Curdle Hill has started with it. So to start with, if you are not fully aware of what I mean by an Achroma season, I am about to give you a brief 30-second sort of overview. However, if you want to know more details, the first link down in the stream below is to our Season 1 Explained article. Definitely go have a read of that later on in your evening if you want to find out more. But the simple short version is that an Achroma season runs for 3 months. Each season is focused on a particular realm. So this one is based on Salem Planum. The first month will always have a 4-week event, which will essentially be a battle, Chroma versus Achroma, to seal the fate for the previous chronicle in that realm. So the previous chronicle in Salem Planum is obviously Curse of Curdle Hill. So this 4-week battle that we've just entered is all about sealing that fate of Curdle Hill, finishing that chapter, turning the page. So that's running for the first 4 weeks. In the second month of a season is when we will be looking to release the second chapter, or the next chapter, I should say, for that realm. So we'll be looking to release chapter 2, of which I'm sure you guys are going to be getting some sneak peeks in the coming weeks. And then the third month of each season, we'll look to host the grand tournament and generally run any other events like that. So, then the season after that will start in July, for example. So yes, we've just started Season 1. So we just started that 4-week event where we're going to be fighting Chroma v Achroma for Curse of Curdle Hill in Salem Planum. Now, to kick it all off yesterday, we had a launch event. So for those that have not seen, what happened was we invited anybody to come down to our Achroma store in Poole, or one of our select stockists, Boards and Swords Hobbies over in Derby, yesterday in stores to take part in the launch event for this battle. And it was really, really fun. For those who went down to Poole, you might recognize me. I was there as well. A lot of the team were there as well. It was really, really good turnout. Loads of people came from the community and just generally had a really, really good day. So what we did is we had this really cool extra thing for people that had turned up to do. So we had what's called these event pallets. So these were pallets that were kind of left on the tables of the store, and you would play your regular games of Achroma, and you would have this deck shuffled by the players. And then at the start of each round, so effectively before the first player takes their next turn, you would turn over one of these cards, and on here would be a lore event. So if I was to read this one, this is Otrix's Influence. Condra Otrix smiles as she exerts her influence over all nearby. Even members of the righteous Von Ruthro Alliance can't help themselves as they steal energy from those around them. So there's a little bit of lore, and then there was a gameplay activity that had to be action there and then. So for example, on this one, it was, for this round, all characters lose their normal resolve effect and instead have steal 1. So your trainee painter becomes steal 1 and splat 1. You know, everything steals 1. So these gameplay abilities were just really, it was just a really interesting way to completely change up the game. Like to read through some of the abilities to give you an idea of how crazy some of them were. Let's see. For this round, characters cost 1 less to deploy. During this round, all actions could be played for free. This round, all gain effects are halved and all drain and steal are doubled. That one killed a few people on turn 2. All players immediately +5. So these were complete game-shifting mechanics that even as a player where you were thinking, few more turns and I've probably lost, the events just swung it back, and it was just really fun. Everybody, you know, I can only speak for the people in pool because I wasn't there at Boards and Swords, but everyone in pool loved it. It was really fun. They said that it was a great way to kind of heighten the fun of the game with the chaotic nature of it. I believe I'm going to be doing a demo game of it actually next stream. So if you weren't actually in the store, we will be able to show you a game of that next week. On top of that, if you know, even if you missed the event yesterday, if you can make it to the store in Pool or to the store in Bash, they do have copies of it there still, where all of this month you're welcome to go in and still play with them. And maybe we might find a way of you guys playing it at home as well. We'll see what we can do. But it was really fun. The other thing that we had specifically at the Curdle store was what we call the Curdle Cube. So this was a really interesting new format that we were just playing around with. There's no guarantee this will be something we actually sell in the future, but it was just a bit of fun, really. Technically, anyone could do this at home. The booster boxes aren't actually necessary. Confirm it was epic fun at Bash. Fantastic. So I got to ask Mongoose. So in the battle of Chroma or Achrom, how was it? More Chroma players there? Was it more Achrom? Like, what was the battle like? So with this cube, how this essentially worked was there was 6 players, and there was 18 of these boxes on the table, each containing 10 cards from a full Chronicle of Curdle Hill. And what you do is you would take 3 boxes. You take 3 boxes each. You would take the cards out from one booster pack, so you have 10 cards in your hand, and you would choose one card that you want to keep for your palette, and you'd put it secretly down. You'd then pass those 9 cards to the player on your left. You would get passed 9 cards yourself, you would pick one, put it down, and keep doing that until all of those 10 cards have been passed around. And you would then do that for all of the booster packs until essentially all of the booster packs have been emptied. Once this is done, effectively all 6 players should have 30 chosen cards, but because there was a bit of randomness, a bit of RNG based on what you got out of your booster pack, the palette that you built was extremely, it was still synergized because you've selected the cards you want, but sometimes you were forced just to pick whatever was in front of you. So it just means that you got some really interesting combos. Nobody had like crazy strong palettes. It was just really fun. So we played several modes of this yesterday. Everybody came away saying how much fun it was. A lot of people said that they'd be interested in maybe playing it at home, and just generally it was really cool. So I know that those are still at the Achroma store in Pool, so I have no doubt that if a group of friends want to turn up and have a go, that's something I'm sure we can arrange. But definitely food for thought, something to try. Yeah, it's very cool. So mostly Chroma wins. Isadora has an Achrom corrupted backpack, eats other people's objects of power. Oh, is that what you're thinking for the event? David, welcome in, Dave, mate. It's mostly multiplayer games at Bash and a fair few more Chroma decks than Achrom. Okay. I did notice that. I was keeping an eye on the global Achrometer throughout the day, and there was mostly Achrom. No. It was about a 50-50 split, actually, of Chroma to Achrom at Pool. But the Achrom players, we were, playing, rapid games because we could see that Chroma meter going up, and we were trying to fight you back down. It was almost like store v store at that point. But yes, very cool. So the Achroma Cube was a fantastic thing as well. And although I haven't got a picture to show you of it, so something we did in the storeroom pool, it got to about 5 p.m. and we were all just playing some games. We were like, oh, shall we do something a bit special? And what we did before people started leaving is we ran like a bit of a off-the-cuff mini hot seat tournament where we got 7 Achroma players and 7 Achroma players. We chose 4 of each at random and put them in 1v1 matchups on the table. And the idea was it was just one game, you know, winner stays on. And then, like, let's say an Achroma player got lost. The Achroma player would stay sat down, but the Achroma player would be replaced by one of the 3 players in waiting, as it were. So basically every time someone lost, they left the hot seat and would be replaced by another member of their team. And we kept doing this until essentially all the Achroma team were out or all the Achroma team was out. And it actually came really down to the wire, but it did end up with 2 Achroma players being left sat there. So Achroma got the unofficial win at the Achroma storeroom pool, but that was a good little fun way to end the day. So yeah, so that is season 1 of Curse of Curdle Hill started. Now, for those that haven't seen, you can check out our live Achrometer, and I'm even going to bring it on stream now for you. So this is, as you can see, this is live on our website. You can see there's a header at the top of a global Achrometer. When you do click on that link, you'll firstly see the all-time, but then you can click on season to be able to see the season results. So let's see, as of right now, where Chroma and Achroma stand in the Achrometer. Remember, this lasts for 4 weeks, and it's only been up for about 36 hours, a bit more than that, actually. So anything could happen, but let's see. I know we're in the hundreds now. Okay, so we're at 125 Chroma wins for 105 Achroma. So the slider is still at 0 because it's done on a percentile. So it's still very, very even. Yes, that is a 20 game deficit for Achroma, but over one day, that is actually very, very close. So we'll be looking at this Achrometer every week on stream. Obviously, you guys can check this out at any time, but it'll be interesting to see how, as the month goes on, how that swings. So yeah, I personally am fighting for Achroma, so bring it on, Chroma players. But yeah, well done so far. So next in the news then is I have a bit of an app update. It's a relatively small one, but just to be aware, if you haven't already, make sure you get your apps updated in your relevant app stores. The main update that you guys will want to be aware of is if you have not done so already, you can now scan or type in the code for your Salem Spring promo card to add it to your collection. So it is now available to be able to scan. So make sure if you have got one of the new promo cards, that you scan it into your app so that you can show off to your friends, hey, I've got the digital version of this card. But yes, you have to update your phone for that. There is also some general back-end changes, but nothing of note to mention on stream, just general optimization as we always do for each update. There is also some back-end stuff that's been put into it in preparation for the adventure game that will be coming out very soon. But again, we'll be talking about that in a minute anyway, so not to talk about now. So yeah, make sure you update your apps if you haven't already. And the last little bit of news, it's less news, more of a reminder. So last week we launched a 15% sale on our online store, where for every order over £20, not excluding obviously charity cards and pre-orders, you also get a Salem Spring promo card. Now that sale ends at 23:59, essentially midnight tonight. So as a last call, folks, I don't even mind if you want to leave stream to go and do it. If there is anything you wish to order on our site and you want to get that lovely 15% off, now is the time to do it. If it reaches midnight, the sale will unfortunately be over. We will obviously do more sales in the future, but if you specifically want this sale and the Salem Spring promo cards, got to get it in tonight as a bit of a last boarding call. Welcome in, Ria. I can't say, but hello yesterday. It was an amazing time and it was great to see everyone. Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely, wasn't it? So that is the Achroma news. If you have any questions about that, let me know in chat. So as for the stream schedule, we now have a look at the upcoming events. Now, obviously, the big upcoming event was the one that we did yesterday. So let's look forward at some of the events that are coming out in the future. So the last few streams, we've mainly been talking about the events actually in store. It's time to start talking about some of the events that Achroma and Realm Runner Studios is actually going to be at this year, because we are going to be going to a few of them. So the first one to be aware of, if you guys want to come and see us, is we will be, it's the middle logo there. We're going to be at Salute, which is it's more of a war games convention, and that is going to be on the 22nd of April, a Saturday, and that'll be at the Excel Centre in London. I will be there for that one, so if you want to come say hello to me and some of the other team members and play some games, we will be there. Obviously, there's going to be lots to see and lots to do. That'll be on the 22nd of April. Going into May, we will be at UK Games Expo and MCM Comic Con in London. So definitely come and see it. You know, if you're going to be at those events, come and say hi, play some games if there's some space, and just come have a chat. It's going to be awesome. And although I haven't got a picture of it, the next in-store event, as far as I'm aware, the main next in-store event will probably be the Grand Tournament, which will be, I don't have an exact date, but that will be in June. We might end up doing a launch event for the Chapter 2 in May, but I believe that it's unconfirmed on that. But definitely the Salem Spring Grand Tournament that will be in June. UK is June. Oh, is that for the Games Expo? Is that June? Yeah. I know MCM Comic Con should be the end of May, but Expo, yeah, June. So yeah, those are the next big events that we will be at. Yeah, awesome. So the next thing we're going to do, folks, is the bit of the stream that, I'll be honest, most of you are probably most excited for. We are going to get Jack onto the stream and have a look at the mobile adventure game. So if you haven't met Jack already, I'll let him introduce himself in just a moment. But he is, I'll say now that Jack is the managing director for Realm Runner Studios. Now, let me make sure we've got this all on. Jack, would you like to say hello, mate?
Hello. Hopefully that's working.
Yeah, loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I am Jack. I'm the managing director of Realm Runner Studios, co-founded it with my wife and with Chris. And yeah, so kind of been obviously on the journey from the very beginning. And I'm excited to kind of show you what we've been working on, because it's been in the works since the beginning of kind of our public release of Achroma. I don't know if any of you would have, some of you would have been there in the very beginning, back in October 2021 when we were at Comic-Con with Curdle Hill and the first release. And we even talked about Achroma Adventure in that first release. We were planning to kind of dual release the cards and the app, the adventure game at the same time, but the cards just took off, and so we've just put all our focus on the cards. And on the back burner, this Achroma adventure's been sat for a while. You've probably seen it in the app with the coming soon hovering over it.
Been teasing us for too long.
Yeah, finally able to reveal it and talk about Achroma Adventure. I'm excited to show you guys.
Fantastic. So obviously, whilst Jack is previewing the adventure, now to be very clear, folks, I have not seen this either, so I'm very excited. Obviously, this is the first time. If you have any questions at all, folks, please put them in the chat. And when there's a natural pause, I'll make sure that we ask Jack every single question, and we'll get as much information as he can. I'm sure Jack will have to hold back certain answers, but we will see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off our little Curdle Hill music we were listening to and unmute the app. So I appreciate we're going to get the full experience here of being able to actually, there we go, we can now hear your actual app as well. So talk us through, Jack. We've just, let's say the adventure game has just been released. Spoiler alert, it's not actually been released right this second. Don't check your apps. But let's say it's just been released. We've just downloaded it. We're a player. So what are we going to do?
All right, so obviously the adventure, for my version of the app, as you would see it coming soon, that will get lifted off and you'll be able to go straight in there and hit that play button. And you'll be presented with the first book of our adventure game. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with old 1980s books that I used to play as a kid that were fighting fantasy books. So you would basically kind of go on, you are the hero and you go on an adventure and you would go to certain pages in the book depending on your decisions. Yeah. This whole adventure game is very much in that feeling, but obviously with much more up-to-date abilities to be able to use the technology we've got with apps to be able to kind of automate a lot of that page turning. You'd have to be figuring out where you're ending up. Mm-hmm. And we are planning on doing this with each of the releases that we've got, with each of the Chronicles. So this is almost a kind of dropping you into the world of Curdle Hill, right slap bang in the middle of all of the action that you've seen through the cards. And you get to kind of explore and go and kind of figure out for yourself what direction you might want to take, what decisions you might make depending on whether you're feeling more Achroma or more Chroma, or what might be swaying you. And that again, the season thing has been such an important part of where we've wanted to get to, representing the fact that the decisions you make will influence how we will continue the story. Just like that in the card game, that's what you're going to experience here, that when you do make decisions, that's going to start impacting that global achrometer, and there'll be another track of adventure game input, which you might have spotted on your profile dashboards of, there is a tracker within the adventure game for your decision making and what you get up to. So yeah, you're going to get into this screen, going to have your little book.
Looks very cool.
Which
nice little flip animation, brilliant.
Yeah, we're going to restart the adventure so that you get it from the beginning.
Sure.
And what you're going to get presented with is some realm runners who you can choose to be. So
I noticed that all the realm.
Choose your adventure.
I noticed that all the realm runners aren't there. Is that just because you've got an early access version, or are those the 5 we'll have to begin with in the early access?
These five represent our innocent, pure realm runners who are more out of the selection of realm runners available that we have in the cards. You might have noticed there's like some suspicious looking characters.
Yeah, looking at you, Mutans.
Yeah, right. So you're not coming into this world as one of these already savvy characters that knows what's going on. You're coming in as one of these children that's ultimately been pulled through a portal and has arrived in this place. So we've limited it down to the children that you can play as when you enter this world.
Yep.
And so you're kind of looking at the world through a child's eyes who's literally just stumbled upon a relic. So we're going to go with Dexter for this one. So I'm going to select Dexter as my realm runner.
As Tati says, best realm runner at the top there. I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got your relics. So at this stage, the premise, as you may have seen in the TTRPG, is that you touch a relic and boom, you appear in another realm.
Yeah,
there you go. So you've got one of these relics you can pick, and then that's going to take you on your journey. Let's go for this unintended.
Just whilst you're selecting that, Hera has just asked about when will the people that pledge the code get to test play? Do you want to reveal that now or at the end?
Well, I'm more than happy to say that, we're in a situation that later this week we'll be able to get this out to those Kickstarter pledges, and we should be, So I'm only steps ahead of you in terms of revealing. You're going to go and explore for yourselves, and we won't go through the whole thing. I want you all to go and uncover as much as possible, but we'll give you a good idea. This should give you enough of an overview for what you need to know to get the basics right. So
cool.
We picked realm runner, picked the relic, and this is about ultimately there's some stats hiding behind these relics and these characters. So depending on what you choose may impact what you can and can't achieve in certain scenarios, depending on the combination that you've got. So straight away out of the gate, we've got a kind of your journey will be already defined by the runner you chose and the relic you chose.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So there is definitely replayability of choosing different runners and relics. It's not just your preference. It will it will change every playthrough.
This game is all about playing through as many times as possible. There is, I would say, there are the options that we put in here go hard. So there's a lot you want to explore, and there are things that you're only going to be able to uncover with certain combinations. So the completionist in you is going to really want to figure out every runner, every relic. What can I do?
Fantastic.
Right, we'll confirm this combo. So at that exact moment, our friends at Feral Child, who are the animated studio who have done that amazing trailer, are working on an intro for this where you will travel through a portal, open your eyes, and then here you are. So you land in Curdle Cave, and this is a text-based journey, so you're going to need to be reading through your paragraphs as they load up, which is what we're seeing here. So you wake up on the floor of a cave. Light pouring in from a nearby entrance hurts your eyes as you clamber onto all fours and stand up. As your head begins to clear, you look around for the strange relic you held just before you passed out. And then if I tap on the text, we're going to see a little option pop up at the bottom. So I'm going to have a look cave. The cave around you is small and dank. Let's speed that up. There's a smouldering fire pit and a bed made of hay nearby. An object lays on the ground on a piece of cloth. As you take a closer look, you see it's the relic you're looking for. So I've got options. I could leave the cave.
Just leave
up the relic.
I have no idea where I am. I know that got me here, but I'm not touching that sort of thing. Brilliant.
So, but in this instance, Dex is going to pick it up. He's going to go, all right, let's get that ring on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay. So we're meeting our first character. Right, you pick up the relic. A tingling sensation starts at your fingertips, washes over you. Dark thoughts enter your mind as you build a connection to the arcane device. The hidden passage reveals itself before you and you feel an overwhelming urge to enter. But we're not going to enter in this situation because I want you to find your own way. So we're going to try and lead you again. All right, so the rabid dog steps out of the shadows as we saw. He's disappeared again, unfortunately. Its white eyes close, it snarls, saliva drips from its frothing mouth. So do we want to stand still, run away, or attack the rabid dog? What should we do?
I mean, I'm slightly disappointed there's not an option to pet the pooch. But I think at this point, if I've just landed, if I'm a kid, I've just landed, and this rabid dog is snarling. I think I'm probably going. Heron wants to attack. Okay, well, you know what? We'll go with Heron. I was going to say run away, but Heron's full attack mode, so let's do that. Welcome,
as the dog pounces, you hit it hard with your relic. The force is unexpectedly strong. You don't understand where you got this strength. The dog whines and scampers away. In the commotion, you're knocked to the ground. Looking up, you notice a stranger watching on. She offers you her hand to get up. So, do we want to accept the stranger's hand or roll away?
See, I'm thinking stranger danger, and I'm thinking roll away.
Okay, roll away. Okay, so this is the first time you've seen that the shard bank just lit up. So in the middle, I'll just do it here. So in the middle, we've got the shard bank you might be used to from the games we play. And there are 6 shards. One of them currently has a little time. We can do this actually now. A little what would you call that? Sand timer.
Little hourglass. Yeah.
Hourglass. There we go. We've got the little hourglass. So this is a relic ability. So this is something your relic has the power to do. Now there are a total of 6 shards on there. Each one of them represents a relic ability. You won't have them in the beginning, but as you explore, you may unlock these relic abilities.
Okay.
And they can be very powerful, and they each have individual impacts on how the story may unfold.
So you can actually be finding these relics as you go through.
So these abilities, almost the essence of this is that these abilities are something you inherently, as you go through the adventure, you will find yourself awakening back in this cave if the worst you. And whatever your relic has learned during that time, it will keep. So if you've got new abilities because you've gone through to a certain point and you've unlocked something, that relic ability will stay with you the next time you wake up.
Oh, so you can even if you pick a different run relic, or just if you pick the same one.
So every relic is going to have might have a different starting ability, but in the end you will fill up your abilities.
Very cool.
So ultimately you've got this through your journey, you will uncover ways to be able to get more powers and do things that you couldn't do previously. So when you go back to visit places that you obviously have been before, there's different things that are suddenly available to you.
Fantastic.
So
and this, just before we move forward, I've got a question. I've got a couple I want to ask in chat. So I see in the middle there, you get the little 1036. So is that where, like, as you're making individual decisions, you can actually see whether that is you gaining shards or losing shards?
That is your shard bank. Okay. So so when you want to play relic abilities, you're going to need to pay shards to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the same shards that you use from the in-app purchases. So when you get those shards in the shop that you can buy your avatars with, you can also use those shards to pay for abilities. However, on top of that, as you saw, when you go through the game, you will gain shards in that bank.
Yeah, so you don't. It's not like a pay to win thing. It's a case of, like, if you did buy some shards, yeah, great, you can get yourself an extra ability, an extra use of ability, but you're gaining them anyway. Awesome.
So the shards will come into your bank, and they will. And equally, if you don't want to use the abilities, you can save those shards up, get yourself an avatar.
Yeah.
So the shards do work across the whole game.
Fantastic.
And then way that you pay for an ability. So if I wanted to go, I think we should rethink that decision.
Now, whilst that's doing it, I know
on
that Chris said that spoilers, it's not always the same outcomes of attacking. Like the outcomes might be different. So we're not, even though we're going through this now, it might, when we play this, if we click the same options, we might see something different. Is that right?
In the scenario there, Dexter had the Serpent's Ring on, which gave him an outcome that you wouldn't always get.
I see. Yeah. Okay.
So depending on the Realm Runner, depending on the relic, you will approach that rabid dog. You may not have the strength. You may have something else. You may not be able to overwhelm them. There's a lot of different scenarios of when you're meeting characters and what's happening around you, depending on what you have, as in the relic and the character will change your options. All right, we're going to go the other way. So in that, it costs a couple of shards, and you've used the time hop ability to go back a step to be able to then have a go again. If you're like, no, not happy with the outcome, I'm reverting back a step.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll go with accepting the stranger's hand and see what she has to say, which gives us more shards. So each decision you're making, as you're doing that, you're getting some shards for the decisions you made.
Fantastic.
So once you do that, you only get those shards for the first time ever that you actually do one of those actions. So if I go back and play this game again, and I do the same thing with the Lone Survivor, I won't get those shards. I have to go and find shards by going and doing things that haven't been.
Okay, very cool.
And so what also happens if we go through, I'll read this in a sec, but I just want to show you.
Yeah, go on.
If I tap on my profile, you'll see there's a new button that appears. So along the bottom, we've got AR mode, shop, and then progress. So if I tap on progress, it's going to show me where we are.
I was going to ask, for the completionists out there, is there going to be ways to see, I have found everything? Very cool.
So you will be able to go through and you will be able to know what you have or haven't achieved in certain locations. We've obviously had some experiences with this rabid dog on Lone Survivor, and there's a couple of other things in there that could happen. So yeah, for the completionists, there's plenty to do that is going to be about looking through and finding.
Now, out of interest,
things that are achieved.
Tati has asked, is the game full of Easter eggs and secrets to uncover? Talking about that whole completionist side, are there? You don't have to give us one, but are there things tucked away that we should really look carefully to find?
Yeah. So basically, these milestones that we created. So in this situation, you've obviously met the rabid dog, and there are lots of different milestones throughout the game, including cards that you've seen in the new expansions that you could go find. Where are those collectibles? How could you get hold of a Von Ruthro teapot, I wonder? Some of those things that you could go around to find and uncover. And equally, so the way that the narrative works is there are lots of branches of story, ultimately leading to a few endings.
Yes.
Not one end. Which equally, I'll be blunt with it. There's 3 endings.
Okay.
One's Achroma, one's Achroma. So in those endings, you're going to see what the potential outcomes could be from, for example, whatever you're doing with these special events with Curdle Hill, playing the cards over this period of time. You'll start seeing what that outcome could be, what that outcome from a lore perspective is most likely to become. So the way that we have written the narrative around how these outcomes can end. And you'll get a lot more deep cuts around exactly what is going on in Curdle Hill. So yeah, there's lots of things to collect. There's these multiple endings. There is also an interaction between your cards in your collection in the app and whether you will meet certain characters or be able to see certain things. If you have those cards in your collection, you may well meet an Easter egg character. If you don't, it's not going to affect the story, but it might mean you don't meet that character. So adding elements in from the physical cards into the adventure game to kind of overlap the evolving card game element of what we're building.
So if Fungwa could theoretically make an appearance with some form of realm relic, I probably not, but that's the sort of idea behind it. But no, it's very, very cool.
Yeah. So, right, what have we got to? So we've got the stranger. We accept the stranger's hand. They help us to As you stand, you both notice one of your hands is cut and bleeding. Before you can withdraw, the stranger holds your hand in both of hers and reassuringly smiles. Green tattoos on the stranger's arms begin to glow. The green light emanates from within your clasped hands as a warmth washes over you. There, that's better, she says. Amazingly, your hand is completely healed. So, we thank the stranger or hug the stranger? Which one do we want to do?
I think thank you. Considering we rolled away, I think it'd be quite there'd be quite of a personality shift to go from like rolling away to straight to a hug. So I think we just a nice pleasant thank.
Thank the stranger. So, we head out of the cave. Looking around, you appear to be surrounded by trees. Do we want to walk into the woods or go back into the cave?
I will let the chat answer this. So we'll see. I'll see which one gets the first to two votes of walking to the woods or going to the cave. In the meantime, for view of comments, Mongoose has said, "Now that is nice for replay challenge." Also said, "Let him froth." I think he wants to see the dog like froth at the mouth. Heron says, wants to attack. You've been a barbarian your whole life. Welcome in OSJ Warrior, who wanted to roll away earlier. Okay, so Mongoose is saying woods. Also, Chris says, it's only Curdle, no Funguars. It's fine, I expected it. It's all right, I'll be patient and wait for the Spirit of Planum to see Funguar. Okay, let's go. We got then suddenly two for cave. So we've got Daniel and Heron go cave, so we're going to go inside the cave then.
Back into the cave. Oh, we've been aimlessly exploring. And before you realise it, you've gotten lost in the labyrinth of the cave.
Easily done.
So we're now looking at all mine. So as you can see, we've kind of brought these to life with the little bits of animated touches.
It looks beautiful, yeah.
As you move the phone around, you'll have that slight movement.
Oh, I see, that's you doing that.
Yeah, that's me doing that, yeah. So you kind of have that feeling that it's moving around you.
That is really cool. Yeah, I love the animations of the actual lone survivor and the rabbit dog as well. Just, it really does bring them to life.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like we've gone exactly where Chris doesn't want us to go. So I know that because he's going to be like, don't say, yeah, look, he said, go leave the cave. Right, we're going to have to go out of the cave because we've got a bit more work to do, but...
Sure. So you've just used your ability again to say, I don't want that decision. So you've spent a few shards to redo the clock sort of thing.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Got a couple more to do.
Keep saying you're supposed to stay in the cave.
Okay, we will go and have a look out at the woods just to have a little
Sure.
look to see what we get. All right. Make your way through the woods, searching for anything relevant that might be helpful, but only find twigs and broken branches. You hear large mechanical footsteps to the left. In front of you, the brush gets thick and hard to get through, and to the right, you see a road in the distance. Which one do we want to do?
So investigate mechanical footsteps, go straight ahead, head for the road. I think I'm thinking how I would play this out. I'd probably want to head for the road because road means town, town means help. I probably wouldn't feel too comfortable by mechanical sounds.
Yeah. Okay, reaching the road, you see street lamps in one direction, and the other, an orange glow is shining in the distance. Head towards the street lamps or head towards the orange glow?
Ooh. Again, going with my original thing, I think I want to try and find a town. Town means people and safety, so I'm going to head towards the street lamps. Also, Cooper says, yeah, hug the stranger is the best thing to do. Mongoose said, I was more saying because Jack... I see, yeah, no worries, Mongoose. All right, so where are we now?
Well, looks like we've headed into Curdle Village, which may have sounded safe, but I can assure you this is not a safe place for a child to be. Heavy clouds block out the sun as you follow the street lights up the lane. So we'll continue, have a little look.
The weather has changed as well.
Yeah, it has got very rainy here, almost like a black, icky rain. Arrive at the village. To your left is a small back alley. To your right is a townhouse, and the front door is open. Ahead, you hear some kind of commotion and see flashes of light around the corner.
Ooh,
So do I open the door or a commotion?
I think we're going to open the door, hoping to find some friendly townsfolk.
Okay.
Oh, Chris said commotion.
You creep up to the house and peer around the door. It looks empty. Oh, and it's very empty. That's why Chris is saying... Yeah,
we're going to turn back the clock for that one. Again, we should mention, obviously, this is the early access version. So, obviously, this will be available for Kickstarter backers that pledged. Presumably, there'll be a more full version coming shortly afterwards, I presume.
Yeah. Ultimately, what we're getting to at the point of is playtesting and getting it into people's hands. So we've just had to do a bunch of bug fixing and work to get over the line, and there's still obviously some bits to iron out. But we do know everything. I mean, what we've built is something that's just been over time, something we've iterated on with different, the most optimized way to be able to get it to function in Unity in the app.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bore everyone with technical stuff, but ultimately, um, there's a lot. All of the, for example, there's a lot in that house. There's just a little bug we need to go through
Yeah,
and iron out and things like that.
and Chris had said in the chat that the version that the backers will get when it does release very soon, it will be an improved version on the current one. You know, obviously what we're seeing is the unreleased version because it's what Jack has access to today. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to investigate the commotion as requested. Okay, so as you can see, you get to have a good look around, walk up the road, you pause at the peer around it to see what's going on. There's a large clock tower across an empty square. It looks like a village hall. Do we want to quickly dash across the square? It looks like that's our option. So
Yeah, sounds good.
what's going to happen? So throughout this journey, you're going to uncover things, discover things, meet characters, and then more options will unlock, as well as the relic and the character that you've chosen. So currently, we haven't met anyone or done anything influential enough to change the outcome of what happens when you get to this place.
Yep.
Which will be, you look around before making a quick dash across the square to the village hall. Out of the corner of your eye in the shadows, you notice a figure running towards you. It runs past the streetlight, and for a flash, you see its grey skin and hollow white eyes.
Ooh.
Do you want to call for help, hold up the lantern, or attempt to evade and outrun the figure?
I want to attempt an evade, but let's give it a second just in case Chris has a specific one he wants to go on. Mongo says, I'm excited, but popped the wrong email. Yeah, no worries. Message me and we'll sort that out. Heron says, nice time to attack the dog and stay in the cave. OSJ Warrior says, looking forward to getting my hands on this. Yeah, me too, mate. Lies, we don't have the lantern. Yeah, that's true. We don't actually have a lantern. Let's go with attempt to evade, shall we?
Yep. Okay. Dash across in a frantic hurry. You scurry over smashed plant pots, benches, and other litter spread across the space. Lucky you're able to evade the man, though his image still sends shivers down your spine. Continue into the village hall.
Yes, let's do it.
You enter the village hall, and there's a gathering of Major's elite detectives. It seems their leader is giving an impassioned speech. You overhear the details, and it seems they're preparing for their assault on the murky manor.
Ooh.
She sees you, and her eyes drop to the relic you're holding. Hello there, I'm Chief Detective Cronus. I wish there were more time for introductions, but we must press on quickly. She moves close to you and says, You've seen that mess outside. I insist you should stay with me. So do we want to agree to go with Cronus to the murky manor, or take our chances outside?
I'm being told by Chris you should not go further. Don't want to spoil behind this point. Which, to be fair, I agree. I guess we're not doing a full run through, are we? Because otherwise, we might see one of the endings.
No, exactly. So, oh no, looks like I headed back outside and began to find herself in an unrelenting loop between the buildings, street lamps, alleyways of the village. As I look on, I realise a crazed resident is longingly looking at you and coming for me. So that's the end of the story.
I see. So what you just done there, have you essentially, like, you've kind of, I appreciate you went back. So are there situations where you can actually kind of get erased and, you know, you don't get any further? It's not just a simple, you will always click through and get to the end. There are certain things that can cause you to just completely get erased and have to start again.
Yep. You'll find yourself waking up again in the cave.
I see. So you're still, that's what you meant about how you, so this is what you meant by you'll keep any extra relics abilities that you've found. But then if I was to start completely from scratch, like if we were to X out of this and start completely again, would I still have those abilities, or is it just whilst we're playing through this one? That makes sense.
You would still have those abilities, yeah.
I see. Oh, Chris says there are many deaths. Awesome. I cannot wait to be erased many, many times over and over.
I think by my relic choice, we did not get to enjoy Death by Rabid Dog, which is, you know, an absolute keeper. There's a lot of opportunities for Rabid Dog. So yeah, there's a lot, and you know, purposefully I want to keep it quite light in terms of showing you how far you can explore and what you can do, because you know, as you could see, there was some mechanical footsteps in the woods. Wonder what that could
Yeah.
be. What's over at the orange glow at the other end of the street? What
Hmm.
happens if you go down the alleyway? What happens if you go through the hidden passage?
Yeah.
So yeah, rest assured, there's lots of options, and lots of routes you can take and things you can uncover. And like I said, with the relic abilities, as you pick those up, that's going to even unlock more and more
Yes.
exploration. But yeah, even by the end of the week, we're in a state now where we're just going to frantically iron out those little details and playthroughs, and like you saw there, you know, there's some little dead ends and bits we need to
Yeah.
tighten up. But generally, it is in a state now where we are absolutely kind of on the brink of just getting it into your guys' hands. You guys can really sink your teeth into having a good play,
Hmm.
and I'm sure there'll still be a few ironing outs of things we need to
Yeah,
do
we'll probably
because
make a channel for like bug reporting or something like that if there's not in the app. Awesome.
yeah. And then also in the what have we got on the back of there? Oh no, it's not on here, is it? It's so you'll see the adventure game's got its own little achrometer,
Yep.
and the decisions as you make decisions, there are things you can do that are nice. There are things you can do that are not so nice.
So this is actually going to be one of my questions. And for reference, by the way, guys, do get your questions in chat now, and I'll make sure we ask them all to Jack before we go. My question around the achrometer then. Sorry if you're about to answer this. So does the achrometer only get influenced when you get to an ending, or is it literally every single choice you make? Even just that small story we did there before we got erased, would some of those actions have affected the global achrometer, or is it only full run-throughs? That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, every action within the game, everything you decide to do, not. I mean, obviously, some actions don't
Yeah.
warrant the influence, but you know, if you're going to go into Von Ruthro House and you're going to Acrom Surge, Klaus von Ruthro, you're probably going to be doing some
Yeah.
pretty hard Acrom scale of things. You know, and like I said, imagine what we've just done there is like the tutorial zone, and you know the amount of
Yes.
stuff available can get quite extensive.
Yeah, Chris did
And
say
so
that there'll be loads. He said that you can't stress
there
enough there's
is,
going to be
and
many deaths.
many deaths and many deaths of many potential characters, many allies potentially. You know, you are very much able to make the decisions as to whether you feel at home with the occultists and are more than happy to join their ways, or whether you
Yeah.
feel you want to repel, push away, go and run away, the Magus Elite, or you
Yeah.
may end up arrested by the Magus for your actions.
Tati has already put in the chat saying, this is the perfect time to motivate my cultist players to play without mercy, crush the chromatic daydreamers that oppose us. It's time for the true power to prevail. Akron for the win. And Heron's got a question as well. How long could the adventure be? Now, I appreciate that's probably a how long is a piece of string question, because it all depends on how quickly you read and make decisions. But roughly, how, and I guess it depends on which paths you go down. But what would you say is the sort of average playtime in testing for how long a full adventure could be? If that can even have an answer.
I mean, the shortest could be 5 minutes. It is. There's a route you can take that obviously isn't the most rewarding, but it's a route and it gets an end. There are, so you kind of have, you've got potential deaths, you've got potential ways that you're going to end up kind of waking up back in that cave. You've also got endings, and then you've got like optimum endings. Like there's these 3 ones I'm talking about. They're kind of they're the prime endings that are potentially trickier to get.
I see.
You're going to have to have navigated your way through in a certain way through a playthrough to be able to get the right conditions to be able to get that ending. So you might well get an ending and think, oh well, yeah, I've done the game. But whether you got the animated ending, which is when you'll know, when you trigger the 3 beautifully animated alternate endings from Feral Child, you'll know you've just hit the jackpot.
Brilliant.
So yeah, and you'll see it in the progression. You'll be able to see where you are in the progression. If you know if you're like, oh, hang on, 9 out of 10 here. What's happened? Why am I not getting this bit? Yeah, so there's some good fun to be had in terms of it's much more about the breadth of the game and the capability to be able to explore and make decisions and have those things influence things than it is about the length of the game.
Yes.
So
I mean, you've added
you're
so much
ultimately
replayability.
exploring- Yeah, and you're ultimately exploring the 12 locations that are within the setting. It's just there's so many things that could occur in those locations, and so many
Yeah.
ways things can unfold, and interactions with characters that could go one way or another. And so I don't know whether I should kind of tell you what the other abilities are, or whether we just have to leave that.
I think we'll
little
leave
bit
those
of
for
an-
now. Yeah. I mean, I want to know them, but I think we should leave them for now. OSJ Warrior's also got another question. Will more characters be added in the future? Could there potentially be an option to make your own Realm Runner? So the first question is more characters being added.
Ultimately, the what we've got here with these characters and relics is a very crude and basic character builder for a TTRPG at some point in time when we get a bit further down the road. And yes, you would be able to build your own character. We haven't designed the game in a way where we factor that in yet, but it would be no problem to be able to say, you're the character you created, and you are a realm runner because you've stumbled across this relic, and you go on your journey, and the stat block that you've built would have an influence over how your journey could evolve. So yeah, there's no reason we couldn't add that in. This was very much about getting a kind of some basic, almost pre-made characters in, so that you could
but there's options,
see the potential.
Awesome. And the first part of the question was there, will there be more characters added in the future in terms of just generally more I'm guessing you mean more characters to play. So like, for example, will more Realm Runners be potentially added in the future as more come out or more get made?
Yeah. So this is obviously the first kind of step and the rise of the Realm Runners. So there will be more as we go into chapter 2, as we start to see more adventures unfold, then there will be more Realm Runners to choose. And yeah, we will follow this on with the Siege of Draco adventure. So how when we get to the end of this season, we will then be ready to release our Siege of Draco adventure for the next season. So we will continue to have these adventure games kind of line up with the season timeline, so that there's always a new adventure game coming out, much more deep cuts on the lore, collectibles and things you can influence around the Achroma. So yeah, I think for those who are really wanting to commit to the dark side of Achroma, they can really hammer it home, and like Tassie said, join her in the dark ways of the occultists.
No, that's awesome, because I know there's lots of people in the community that have been absolutely waiting very patiently for this, because a lot of people love the idea of the whole, like you said, the old choose your own adventure type deals. I know a lot of people actually enjoy the kind of sort of solo play, don't always have someone to actually play a card game of Chrome with, so they can just kind of dive into this. Mongoose has some feedback as well. As you've already written the story, easy one-shot TTRPG. Yeah, potentially Mongoose, that could be written if required. I don't know the story yet, but that is very true. Yeah, very nice. So I haven't got any more questions yet. If I did miss any questions, guys, then just shout at me and I'll make sure that I ask it. If you've got any more questions in the meantime, chuck it in. But Jack, is there anything else to mention in the meantime that you kind of had planned to say in the stream?
No, I think it's exciting to finally get to this point and be able to show you guys. Really keen to get the feedback and really kind of learn as much as possible from what you all think about how the game's improving or what we could do for it. Obviously, that's what's so nice about having this kind of early access. It gives us the chance to kind of get it into your hands, and you the chance to tell us what you love about it, what you think we could improve about it. And like always, we really value the feedback, and a massive thank you to everyone who's worked on it. I know everyone's put their hand towards kind of like building this game out to make sure that we've got really fun options and routes, and lots of interesting, the same way that you can look at it from the point of view of when people describe playing the card game, there's those flexibility as to how passive or aggressive you want to be. There's a lot of that in this adventure game as well. You can really, there's definitely a scenario where you're sat eating some cake and having a chat with Von Ruthros around a kitchen table.
Amazing.
If that's your vibe. There's also scenarios where you just
smash the cake.
So and I think that's what I love about what we built with the Achroma, is it's something that kind of feels like it tailors to lots of different people's preference, and I love the fact that the adventure game feels very very at home with the rest of the world that we're building. And again, it gives everyone a clear idea as to, for us, creating Achroma is more than a card game. It's this entire universe we want to really open the doors to and let people in and explore and uncover and, you know, hint at what else could be coming next.
Very nice. So I think to wrap it all up then, because some people might be watching this on the replay or might not have seen earlier. So so just to confirm, we're saying this will hopefully be out sometime in the next week, give or take. Again, not a promise, just a rough ETA. How will people expect to get it? Will it be like an email to the backers? Will it just be an app update? Just so people can kind of expect to know how will they? Obviously, we'll ping everyone in Discord and socials, but how else will they know it's available? Do we know?
Yeah, we'll do an email send out, all the Kickstarter pledges. We should have gathered the details from everyone, but we'll obviously just do a second roundup if there's any details we're missing. And you don't have to do anything. Your app will look like my app. There'll be some people who have a coming soon badge, and there'll be Kickstarter backers who will be able to get in, have a play.
Very cool.
And so yeah, get in there first, enjoy it. Let us know what you think. Obviously, like I said, the early access, the double-edged sword of what we love, which is all your feedback, is you'll probably find some bits that don't quite make sense, and we'll just have to tighten them up. But it will be good fun to get everyone's
absolutely
insights as to what they uncover. What I'm looking forward to is the same way that everyone has that social element. I was very keen on us having a game that felt like, in the real life sense, the conversations about what one person might have found versus what another person's found, and the whole thing of like, how did you get that thing, and then the kind of discovery of community, in the sense that I'm looking forward to hearing and feeling from all of you guys who uncovers what first, like, and how do you get that, or do you want to reveal it, or do you want to be the person who's like, don't tell me, I want to find out for myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that kind of intrigue that hopefully everyone will have when they get their hands on it.
On that, what we will do for those in the community is, if you haven't already joined the Discord, link is down below. I will make we've got a section already for Achroma Canvas, Achroma Heroes, Achroma RPG. At the bottom, I'll put another section for the mobile game. I'll get that done over the next day or two. So there'll be a section just generally to chat about the game, as Jack said, to talk about your experiences. We'll make sure there's a feedback channel, so there's a nice avenue that you can go down to let us know if there's not anything directly in the app, as well as maybe some forum posts for like spoiler free things or whatever. But there'll be ways to. I agree, Jack. It'd be really interesting to, like, it's not just even though it is a play it yourself, it's all about how did you get past that, or what did you do to get that, or where did you find that relic? It's gonna be a lot of fun. Awesome.
Yeah, and I think I can't really. Just one more thing on it. I was just thinking about the relic abilities.
Sure.
Because they are the time hop one is the least influential of all of them, obviously, because it just reverses things.
Is that one that everyone has by default? That wasn't a Dexter or Serpent's Rings thing?
No, and then the other ones will have can have quite dramatic effects on the outcome. So just to give some context, that they almost become additional options that you can go through and uncover more narrative and elements of the world. So
for example, I don't know any knowledge, but this is me just guessing. For example, could there be abilities like Raven's Eye, where it's like, by pressing this and spending some shards, if you have two options, you see which one is an option that won't get you a raise, sort of thing. It's almost like seeing into the future of, this is the way you want to go if you want to live.
Or maybe even unlock a hidden option.
Oh, like a path that you didn't see, like a reinvestigate sort of thing. Okay, very cool, very cool.
We'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll leave it there, definitely. Mongoose has some good feedback saying, genuinely kudos to you and the team for the universe you're creating. Thank you, Mongoose. That's very, very kind. But yeah, no, I cannot wait to get my hands on it personally. If you guys have any other questions leading on from the stream, leave them in the comments of the stream or comments YouTube channel or in the Discord, and we'll answer them when we can. But Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the stream. Thank you as always, and showing us this preview. We'll make sure this is on the YouTube as a video as well. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll speak to you throughout the week and look forward to seeing more.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
No worries. See you, Jack. Bye. All right, folks. So that is not the end of the sneak peek section just yet. Firstly, I probably should have actually did it before Jack left, but can we get a round of thank yous in the chat for Jack for joining us on stream, joining us on his busy evening to show us that, because that was genuinely brilliant. I'll put the music back on as well in the meantime. I had that turned off just whilst we were listening to the app. Welcome in, Richard. Once it we does. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I cannot wait. Welcome in, Bish. Getting a thanks. Thank you guys for all of all those wish wells to Jack. So that is not the end of the stream, though. We still have a few more things to do. So that was the main sneak peek, if that wasn't obvious, for the adventure game. But now we will have a look at some of the alt arts. Now, this is actually quite exciting because, so as a reminder, a few weeks ago, we ran a giveaway, which was you guys could submit your versions of alt arts that you want to see. And we said that we would then be passing those to one of our designers to then upscale into an Achroma card. And I now have, obviously we did see the entries, the winners a few weeks ago, but now I have for you guys the final versions. So let's have a look at these. So the first one is Materno. Now, I don't actually have it written down whose cards as well. I remember this one was indeed Hazmat's. So Hazmat drew this really cute art of Materno, and look at what it's been turned into. Look how I genuinely love this one. It's such a great way to see Materno's sort of motherly instincts, her personality here. It's just beautifully drawn, amazing design by Hazmat. I think that's a great one. What do we think of this one? I personally can see that being the new Materno I use, because I think it's just such a great way of also showing that's how she gives protection to her lower shard cost dragons. That's a really, really good one. So I should mention, by the way, actually, I should have started with this, to be honest. I would love, I'll probably get her on stream in the next few weeks, but I should say, folks, that massive congratulations to Codex Genora. I think she also has an account called Liz Amin in the community. So for those that don't know, our original artist is Matt Vince, who has designed all of the beautiful locations and designed all of the first edition cards, and also our Realm Runners and Realm Relics. We also have our artist in the community, Marco, who you will love, who has been brilliantly designing all of the expansion cards. And these cards you're looking at, these have actually been drawn by another community member, Lizanne, or Codex Genora. So firstly, massive congratulations to Liz for drawing these cards. She has done in my personal opinion, she has done a fantastic job as we look through these at not only just drawing fantastic looking cards, but it's a great hybrid of her personal art style and obviously the style of Achroma. Yeah, I really love this one. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I agree, Tati. Looks beautiful. Yeah, so Liv's done a brilliant job with these. I'll get her on stream like I did with Marco at some point so you guys can meet her. So the next one, this was done, unfortunately, I really should have had the notes up. In fact, if you give me 2 seconds, folks, I will bring up the list so you can I can actually congratulate the cards creators again. But this is a custom art for Ignis, so you can see on the left hand side what was submitted and the right hand side what we've got. Now we unfortunately I think the sun had to go just purely because of the some things had to be changed about the art to make it work, but it's just genuinely beautiful. I love this picture of Ignis. Just it's so great to see him kind of in that dark and evil pose on the top of what, to be honest, looks a little bit like Stone yet. Oh, it's Jake's card. There we go. I'm just going to quickly find that article just so that I can get the other names up. Probably should have done that in my prep, but there we go. We can get it here. There we go. I've got the names. So yes, that one was Jake's card. So congratulations, Jake, on obviously that. But yeah, brilliant artwork there. Really cool. Looming Darkness and Above. It's glorious. It really is. But a fantastic one there. So the next one that we had, I still think the moon should have been there. Yeah, obviously we had to be very careful with some of the backgrounds just to make sure that the text of the card was still readable. But it looks very, very cool. The next one, this is my personal favorite, purely because of the background. Look at this awesome one of Nue. So this one was David King. So congratulations to David who drew and got this one submitted. So I love this. Obviously, Nue is all about protection in his ability. And there he is standing on top of presumably the monastery library or the monastery gates, getting ready to protect his kingdom. And fun fact, that is, I've been told, that little bird, that is a little baby rock as well. So that is actually a little baby rock in the corner there. But yeah, Beautiful looking card, really cool design by David, very well done as well. Yeah, I like this one, Rich, as well. It like for example, Nue is not a card that I've had built into many of my palettes, but I almost now want to make a palette around some of these cards purely to do it. Yeah, it's incredible. David, congratulations, mate. I'm really chuffy on this one. The artwork is, Codex has stayed very, very true to your design, and I think it just looks amazing. So massive props to you for designing it and Liz for drawing it. Reminds me of my cat so much. Yeah, very cat-like instincts. Now, this one, again, was my entry. Staff members could enter, but I didn't have any more chance of winning sort of thing. So I entered the one on the left, which was this. I wanted to see, my idea was I wanted to see chromatic extinction, like almost this, this shard breaking and this Achroma surge just like then spilling out from it. And I really like the direction Liz took with my card here of this really I think the Achroma just looks amazing in that. Nah, boo. No, it looks really, really cool. It's like a before, if you take now chromatic extinction and then this art, it's almost like a before and after pick. Maybe if there's ever future alt arts, I mean, we're probably not going to have another alt art of chromatic extinction, but it would be cool if we had now a third one of just then like the boom happening. But no, I think that's really cool, especially the detail that's been put in that middle bit, the pure chaos. Yeah, absolutely love that. Again, massive props to Liz for drawing that. The next one, this one came from Frankie, I believe. So Frankie drew this split decision, and I think this is like, I almost want to get a marshmallow over this card. It looks, even though it is the choice between kind of fire and the sun, it just feels really cozy. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a little bit of pain there with the hand on fire, but no, that's really, really cool. Love the design of this one. Very, very different to the original cards, and again, drawn beautifully. Pure Chaos looks really nice, really nice. So yeah, well done again to. It was Frankie that drew this one. The next one was drawn by Troy. Now, this one was put in the Discord earlier in the week, so you may have already seen it, but we had to have a Funguar alt art, didn't we? And this one, I really like this one. I personally just like how, it's like he's eating the leaf, being like, I'm coming for you next. A very hungry boy, and he is indeed a very hungry caterpillar. Again, beautiful design originally by Troy, upscaled amazingly by Liz. And again, that's one that definitely is going to be going in all of my palettes in the Spirits of Platinum because he just looks absolutely fantastic. So again, well done to Troy for submitting that one, Liz for drawing it. Now, this one was actually Liz's own entry because she was allowed to enter herself. Again, she wasn't the one picking it, so it wasn't like she then picked herself. This was her Giesel entry. She did upscale it a little bit from the original design, but either way, I personally love this one. Just the way the hair's flowing, the proper action shot of that clearly going to be a holder tail whip, just looks absolutely stunning. It's just fantastic to see some of these characters in these action poses. So I guess a double congratulations to Liv for both, her entry being picked, but also the actual design of the card. It is incredible. It really, really is something. Now, all of these will be going in the Discord after stream, so I know I'm going through them relatively quickly, but if you want to see them again, I'll be putting them in the Discord momentarily. And the last one was submitted by Karen Wayward Nun, otherwise known as Ria in the Discords, my wife, and she did her own version of Samir Smash, and again, I just love how this one's come out, because in the first Samir Smash, you're almost seeing like, the fist about to punch something, and now we're seeing it just absolutely pound on the ground of Wishwell Quarry, and the shards just flowing up, like almost like it's about to cause like an earthquake. But no, absolutely, I love the design and love how it's come out. I think that's it. Better than yours. I agree, Richard. It is much better than mine. This is your favorite Bish. Yeah, I agree. It's really, really cool. I don't know whether these cards will have the... I don't know if Chillman or Jack's still in the chat. I don't know whether the alt art rares and legendaries will still have the shiny effect on them. I'm not sure if they will. But regardless if they will or won't, that card is going to be fantastic. Very Jessica Rabbit feel. Yeah, I can see that, Mongoose. I can see that. Or that might have been about the Gazelle. But yes, so those are the alt arts. Now, obviously, we've seen a lot of the other alt arts as well. If you didn't catch the other alt arts, they are in the sneak peek channel of the Discord, or check out the previous stream. There is still some alt arts we haven't shown you, but those are all the community upscaled ones. Yes, those are all the community upscaled ones. It's like she smashed you into bits. Exactly. So yes, massive congratulations again to those that entered in that giveaway. You guys have done a brilliant job with those, and I cannot wait for us to all get our hands on them. So well done. So then, that ends the sneak peek section of today's stream. So to finish off with, we always like to shine... I mean, to be fair, we did just shine a little bit of the light on the community there by looking at your alt arts, but I always like to shine the light on the community. So to begin with, this week we've gained 5 members in the Discord. So if you're one of the members that have joined this week, welcome into the community. Lovely to have you. Make sure you're picking your side of Achroma or Achroma for the next 4 weeks. And then we always like to take a look at some of the content you guys submit. So if you haven't already, make sure to join our Discord, link down below. And we have a fan content section where you can post any stories you write, any drawings that you do, any songs or podcasts you make, anything creative that you make about Achroma. We would love to see it and show it off on stream to see what you guys are doing in the background. So to start with this week, the first thing I have, now this is really cool. So this, yes, Gazil, a sample Jessica scares me. Sorry, a Samir Jessica, yes. So this one is really creative. So Darth has spent the last few weeks crocheting a capelet. So here is a picture. He is happy with me to show it on stream. So he wore this actually to the event yesterday. He's created this capelet to wear with all of the chroma shards going around, which looks amazing. It's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be in the pictures that he put in the forum. But yeah, amazingly talented, mate. Well done for creating that. And I love the fact that you've worn this. And it gets even better, folks. If I show you the second picture, when it flips over, Tati, you'll be happy that yes, it does indeed have an Achroma side as well. It's really cool. And as he was in the store yesterday, he was even like flipping it around based on which palette he was playing. Really cool, really comfy. Definitely the perfect time to wear it for spring when it's still a little bit cold outside in England. But no, really talented, mate. Really well done and fantastic to see. So yeah, well done for making that. And thank you for wearing it to the store yesterday. I need one as well. If you ever make spares, you might be able to make a business out of it, Darth, because yeah, I think there would definitely be some want for those. I did take them a few times. Yeah, when's will be available to buy and how much? Yeah, maybe we'll do like an auction for the one at some point. But no, very, very cool. It's, effectively, you could say that Darth is one of the first community members to actually have merch. Just he made it himself. But no, really well done. At last, a true devotion to Achroma. I will say, Tati, that he was wearing it on the Achroma side for the large majority of the day. So definitely was on the Achroma side. But yeah, so well done to Darth for creating that. Very, very cool. Next, we have some fan art. This one is just so cute. So this is funny enough, this is actually a TTRPG character. So this was made by Lewis's partner. So I don't think Lewis's partner's in the Discord, but Lewis is in the Discord. He's the one that's been working on the amazing bot. So they've been starting to pre-make their TTRPG characters with Hen for a one-shot. And Lewis's partner made this card. And apparently the character is called Pim the Imp, P-I-M, Pim the Imp. That is going to be her TTRPG character. And I agree, Heron. I kind of wish this had been submitted as an alt art card because I definitely would like to see it be one in the future because that is just so adorable. I can't wait to see how she roleplays that character in the RPG as well. It's absolutely beautiful. So well done for Lewis for... actually, I don't even know if it was Lewis or his partner that actually sketched it, but whichever one of you sketched it, firstly, lovely drawing, but very, very cute. Thank you for sharing that in the community. And yeah, I appreciate we all agree that it's very, very cute. We've got a very weird mixture of creative stuff today. So we've had a capelet, we've had a drawing, and we've also got the Fungwa Express. So what you're looking at here, folks, is Sarah and her children, Seb and Amelia. They got this sort of folding card cutout of Hogwarts Express from another franchise. But after color, Amelia specifically said that she wanted to color it in the chroma colors. Sorry, Tati. There's no Achroma in there. So they did all the different chrome colors, and then they stuck Fungwa as the conductor. I hope it's like a gremlin, get wet or feed it Achroma. It turns into, oh yes, that'd be so cool. Yeah, for Pim the Imp, like from what's it called? Is it the Crystal Maze? Ria, my wife, is going to be absolutely devastated that I've forgotten the name of the film that has all of the puppets. They go through the maze. It's her favorite film, and it's gone over my head. But just like yes, but yeah. Well done to Sarah and the kids for this, because I just like seeing Funguar be placed in weird and wonderful situations. So he is the conductor of Hogwarts Express this week. So well done to you guys for that. I love the idea of a Terror Imp. Yeah, I almost like want to see that imp just like rage and just become really aggressive. Like, yeah, if it eats the wrong berry or something. And then other bit of news is we do have the community articles run by Echo Base in the Discord called Draco Temple. The link is down below. He's brought out 2 new articles this week, which are good reads. He did a deep dive into some of the sneak peeks that we revealed last week. And he's also done an article about the old tarts. And I believe if it's not already gone up, he was going to do an article on the events yesterday. So definitely go and check out those community-based articles as well. And again, massive thank you to Echo for, writing those articles in the community. Labyrinth, that's it. Yeah, Ria will not be too happy with me for forgetting that one. But yes, like Labyrinth. Amazing. So those are the community artwork and kind of creative stuff that I want to show off today. And we also like to show a couple of palettes that have been built. Now, we've actually had quite a lot of palettes that have been put in the Discord this week. I haven't got time to show them all, but I wanted to show a couple that I particularly liked. So the first one is done by Dickon in the Discord, and he's created this Fall of Flutterby palette. And the reason I've chosen this one is you don't normally see palettes choosing Splat Morel. You normally see, the fan favorite Copper Joss or maybe one of the Pixies. So really interesting to see this one. I was thinking more Gremlins for feeding them. Oh, I see. So he's put in the forum post, because all of these you can find in the Achroma Canvas forum in the Discord. He said about this that the whole premise of this palette was all building it around red shards. So you can see here that you've got 2 lava fountains. Where's my mouse? There you go. You got 2 lava fountains which reduce the shard value of anything by red in your hand. So as you can see, there's a lot of cards in this palette, pretty much all of them, apart from 1 or 2, that have red. So it means it's a very, very effective palette. And you also have 2 Splat Teachers that reduce the shard value of cards by yellow. And as you can see, there's a lot of cards with yellow. So the whole point of this palette is to get down your lava fountain, your Splat Teacher, and then theoretically all the rest of your cards are going to be much cheaper to play. You've also got 2 Fire Tenders in there to be able to find any cards with red that cost 3 or less, so you could easily pull out a full palette or a Dracon or even a Soaking Stone for that matter. And then in terms of the legendaries and rares, Sprat Morel is just fantastic for that extra steel. This looks like a little bit of a hybrid deck. It's mostly Chroma, but you've got a little bit of Prevent in there. You've got a little bit of steel, only a little bit from the Soaking Stone and the Sprat Morel. Solid choices of rares as well. Just generally, I just really like the synergy of this palette. It's not got the same go-to cards that every, a lot of the main Spirit of Plane and palettes go for, but no, it's very good. Oh, yes. Vortigern would have an absolute field day against this palette. I guess that would be one of the weaknesses of this palette, would be that, anything that has, or from Curdle Hill specifically, block out the sun, that gets rid of anything with yellow. I'm seeing a lot of yellow. So yeah, it's definitely going to have a few weaknesses in there against a couple of specific palettes. But no, very, very good palette. Well done to Dickon for creating that. If you guys want to leave any other feedback for Dickon, you can go to the Canvas forum and leave him some feedback for that. And the next one I want to show is from Fairy Bread in the Discord, and it is a Conjurer Otrix palette. And I particularly like this one just because it's got a very... Odd is the wrong... It's got a very creative mixture of some of the cards. So looking specifically at the rares and legendaries, I like the addition of Vraxia and Huxon into a occultist deck. Although you can see that the general idea is to steal. You've got lots of steal and drain. You've got the new Salem Spring promo card in there. One of the hard things with Achroma decks is managing your shard count. So I can see that by having Huxon in there, you're going to get that. I can see you've got a Magus Elite Inspector to be able to find Huxon. Huxon is obviously going to give you loads of extra gain. You get out all of these cheap Achroma characters, and then Huxon is going to make all of them worth it. You get more shards back. I really like the addition of Vraxia though, because you've already got Occultist Den. Occultist Den allows you to dig for a Occultist character once per turn. So let's say you play your Otrix and you claim someone's character, you could then essentially use Otrix next turn to, you know, maybe whack a Darnacusk or something to be erased, and then you can dig for it back. But also, if you've got Vraxia out on your board, it means that if, let's say, your opponent has a character that is 5 shards, you don't mind the fact that when you attack with Otrix, you're going to lose Otrix, because you will attack with Otrix, erase that 5-shard character. Thanks to Vraxia, you'll get Otrix back into your hand. You can then play her again to claim a new character. So Vraxia and Otrix, really interesting combo where you can bounce her back, not bounce her, you can get her back to your hand when she's erased and then play her again. Very dangerous. Other cards I like in this palette, you got some good control cards, can claim some locations, an abundance for a quick shot of Achroma, block out the sun, fantastic as we looked at for some of those palettes with lots of yellow, some solid locations for drain. I like the use of a Curdle Cave as well, talking about the gain there. Lots of cheap characters suddenly become much more useful when you have a Curdle Cave out. You know, a lone survivor that only costs 1 to draw a card with no resolve. If you have Curdle Cave and Huxton out, suddenly you're spending 1 but gaining 2. So yeah, really like this palette. Well done, Fairy. If you want to have a go at this palette yourself, folks, or leave any comments for Fairy, then again, join the Discord, go to the Achroma Canvas forum, and it is in there from this week. Like I said, there were quite a few other decks submitted this week. I didn't have time to talk about them all, but some very creative palettes in there, so go and check them out as well. Welcome in, Michael, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Is that something to do with that palette? Yeah, you think that's what it looks like? But yeah, and with that, folks, that brings us to the end of today's stream. So to summarize, we have looked at some of the Achroma news, where specifically the big news of this week is that Season 1 has started, and the live Achrometer is now available to see. If you want to know more about Season 1, about what is happening, check out the link down below for the article where we explain it all. We've looked at some of the upcoming events coming soon. We had a very special sneak peek from the managing director of Realm Runner Studios, Jack Constantine, who spoke about and demonstrated the Achroma adventure mobile game, which will be coming hopefully next week as discussed. Feel free to look back in the stream if you want to see more of that. And we've shined some light on you guys as well. So with that, we're going to look to end the stream. So firstly, a massive thank you from me to everybody that has joined us in stream and been nice and chatty. As always, the stream is always more fun when I have you guys talking and engaging and asking questions. So thank you to everybody that has been here today and engaged in the chat. Thank you again to Jack for joining us. So we will be live again next week. I appreciate it is Easter Sunday next week, so some of you may have plans and may not be able to join, but I will be streaming next Sunday with our regular weekly news. You can always watch it on repeat if you need to. And I will be now jumping into the Discord, into Table 1, where if anybody would like to, we could play some Achroma games and just generally debrief today's news if you fancy it. But otherwise, folks, enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you will have a great one. Thank you, Heron. Thank you, Warrior. Thank you, Richard. I have been Charles Barton, otherwise known as Viridian Discords. This has been the Achroma Weekly Stream. We'll see you in the next one. See you guys.